for joining us, and we are very much looking forward to hear more about your product. And maybe you can also introduce yourself a little bit, that colleagues know where you are from, what you are doing, and so on.
Sure. My name is Gregor Cholewa. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at KnowledgePulse, and our mission is to make learning a bit easier and support especially the tasks of rote learning, repetition of factual knowledge that you have acquired, that you have heard about or read about before. And the product was developed over a period of about 10 years in the Research Studios Austria before we saw that there is enough market potential, and before we started the KnowledgePulse company 2 years ago now. So I'm still working in Research Studios Austria to work in research and enhance actual knowledge that you enhance this product. And at the same time, I'm working in KnowledgePulse, which is a commercial company that you have heard about or read about before. Okay, I have a horrible echo here, and I hear myself with a lot of delay. I'm not sure about.
Actually, I muted myself here, so the echo shouldn't come from here.
It was developed over a period of about 10 years in the.
Once again, I will mute myself here on this side, but I muted the microphone, so it should be muted. Anyway, please continue. I will mute myself here.
Well, we saw that there is enough market potential, and just a second before we started the. Okay, I closed the Hangout in the browser window, so probably this was the issue here. So I have two jobs. I work in Research Studios Austria in research on mobile learning and microlearning, and at the same time I work in KnowledgePulse, which is a commercial company that sells the KnowledgePulse solution to governments, to educational institutions, but also to corporations who want to improve the learning of their employees. And I will switch to my presentation to give you a better overview of what we are doing. Do you see the presentation now?
Sorry, we just see the. Yeah. Wait a minute. Now that's the different browser. I'm afraid we are in your mailbox right now.
Okay. That's not what I want you to see, so I'm closing it.
Sorry.
Let's try again. Do you see the presentation now?
No, we see the left top corner from the Hangout. Right now we have the whole Hangout.
Okay, that's weird.
Right now it's you.
Let's try this. Do you see the presentation now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I will talk about mobile learning for schools and higher education and how it can help to reinforce learning and support test preparation. A few words about the application scenarios where KnowledgePulse and microlearning are used today. So we have several customers in the field of higher education, starting from the University of Massachusetts Lowell. We have some customers in Europe also, from Bratislava, and from Delft, but also in Austria, University of Applied Sciences in Kufstein and in Upper Austria, and also the Danube University in Krems are using our product for their students. We have several interesting projects in corporate training where we support large retail chains to train their people on product knowledge, so they are more competent and the customers don't say, I can Google myself, because then they would probably prefer to shop online, or maybe they do it anyways. But for the buying experience of the customers, it's very important that they meet competent staff on the point of sale. We also do several compliance trainings for customers like the Austrian Railways organization for 40,000 employees. So KnowledgePulse is a quite mature product with large customer organizations like Austrian Railways or Remax. You might have heard about this organization as well. We are also collaborating with several publishers and training institutions, as they are interested to support their readers or the participants of their trainings to remember more of the stuff that they have read about or that they have heard about. So I'm just coming now from a meeting with the educational publisher Facultas, where they print into every single of the new books, they print a QR code that tells the people that they can download an app in addition to the book to rehearse on the content of the book. So this provides an added value for the readers and helps them to memorize more than just from the reading. And the same is done by training providers like Hot Engineering, who provides trainings for the oil and gas industry internationally, but also for NetDoctor, who provides continuous medical education for doctors and for other training organizations, as you can see. Just recently, we have won the Brandon Hall Gold Award for Best Use of Blended Learning, together with our customer M-Preis, which is a supermarket chain in Western Austria. And the Brandon Hall Award is something like the Academy Award for movies. Brandon Hall is for the e-learning industry. Why is KnowledgePulse so successful, and why do people use our product? Well, one of the benefits is that it integrates well into busy days. So KnowledgePulse runs on your mobile phone, it runs on your tablet, but also on your PC, and it enables you to use small periods of time for the stuff that you want to learn. And you don't have to carry around your books, and you don't have to log into a web-based training, but you are, when you open the app on your phone, you're right at the spot where you stopped last time. And even if you have just 2 minutes while you're waiting for your train, or while you're waiting for a meeting to start, KnowledgePulse will allow you to make use of this time and rehearse on the content that you want to learn. Why are we doing this? Well, we are trying to address the challenge of the inefficiencies of classroom training. Right now, I'm giving a lot of information to you, and probably you will be, or hopefully you will be inspired by my lesson. But afterwards, when you leave this class and when you leave this course that you're participating in right now, in only 2 days, you will have forgotten most of the stuff that you're hearing today. And when you are back to work and when you are back in your country in 1 month, and you're trying to remember what was this micro-learning thing and what was KnowledgePulse, it will be quite hard for you to remember even basic facts about it, if you don't rehearse on it. But usually it's very difficult for students and for learners to find the time for rehearse that. And probably it will be the same for you, even if you have now your binders and if you have online script where you take your notes, it will be very hard for you to look at it again. Not because you don't want to do it and because you're not a motivated student, but because there's just too much other stuff. And these are the problems that we are trying to address. So our question when we started to develop KnowledgePulse was, how can mobile phones make the knowledge build-up more effective, and how can they help you with this task to rehearse on the critical information that you want to memorize? Well, this is how we started in 2004. So you can imagine that this was not the biggest success at that time, and well, but probably in 2004 you also did not use your mobile phone for managing your calendar, and you probably didn't even use your mobile phone to surf the web. So there was a lot of development since then. But the basic principle remains the same. What we are doing with KnowledgePulse is we're providing learning cards or knowledge cards, and they can look like this. So on the left-hand side, you see an example of a learning card on Windows PC, and this is about oil drilling. So this is for training for the oil industry and people who are working on oil platforms. And in the middle, you're seeing a learning card, how it would look like for public administration training in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And they still like to use BlackBerry phones. So it looks like this. And a very similar, the format is very similar, or it's even the same, but different colors are used for schools in the Caribbean, where school kids are rehearsing, for example, on their chemistry lessons. So the app can be customized in terms of the color schemes, in terms of the logos and so on, but the structure of the learning cards is always simple. So there are different formats of questions that are used, but basically we are using questions and we are testing the knowledge of the people. And but there's a little more magic to it, and I will show it to you right now. So how can learning cards be a bit smarter and support students better with learning? Well, one important side to it is that they need a web interface that makes it really, really easy for students or for teachers to enter the learning card. So this is a screenshot of our web interface. And if any one of you is interested in using this application later on, I'm happy to grant access to you, to give you a test access where you can also create your own learning cards. We also had some other insights how we can support learning with learning cards and with KnowledgePulse. So the first insight was when people don't have time to look at the binders and to read the large manuals or the larger chunks, then we can make the chunks smaller, and therefore we make them more easy to integrate into busy days, but also more easy to digest. The second, so the way how we do this is with these learning cards, and you can see that these learning cards with KnowledgePulse, you can use them on all the different platforms. You can use them not only on the iPhone and on Android, but you can also use them on your ebook reader, no matter if you use a Kindle Fire or if you use a Nook. You can also use it on Windows Phone, you can use it on BlackBerry and even on Symbian devices or on Windows PCs. You can also use it on tablets like on the iPad or on Android devices. The second insight that we built into this product is that questions are a very powerful way to motivate learning, and that's the reason why maybe you heard about Quizduell, that's the German title. There are versions for the English-speaking countries as well, not sure about the title, but currently there is a big trend in this quizzing apps, and millions of people are playing that because because of the power of questions, because they are people are getting like addicted to it. So we don't tell the people that they should learn again, or we don't tell the people that they should reread anything. We are pushing questions to the people, and even if they don't click on these questions and if they don't answer them right away, just reading the question immediately triggers your brain to think about your learning topic. And this activates the section in your memory and brings it to the top of your mind and helps you to helps you to access the knowledge more easily later on. The third insight is that memory is based on repetition, and there's also a lot of scientific work that we are building on that proves that retesting is by far the most effective way to memorize anything. You can read the same book or the same text 10 times, but you will still not remember as much if someone is asking you about a specific content in a text. Also, Eric Kandel is quite important scientist in this field, because he was able to prove that there is even a physical change in your brain and that the synapses are growing when you repeat the same stimulus. So the way how we have built this in our product is based on the Leitner algorithm that you might have heard about, or maybe you know this learning boxing, and maybe you have used flashcards yourself if you learned vocabulary for a foreign language, for example. So we put these questions on small flashcards or learning cards, and they are sorted into boxes. And the basic principle here is that questions that you get right, they go to the next box, and they are repeated later on. Questions that you answer wrong, they go back to the first box, so you have to repeat them more often until they are considered learned. And the idea is that the algorithm creates spacing between the repetitions. So questions that you get wrong, our system tries to repeat them or show them to you again within the next 24 to 48 hours, while questions that you get right, they are sorted to the back, and you will only get them much later when you have answered all the other questions correct or wrong. The fourth insight is that it's not enough to provide the content on a platform where people have to log in and they have to start the app, but it's highly effective to use active triggers and to push the people by sending questions to them with a mechanism like an SMS or like push notifications on your mobile phone. It will not block the screen of your mobile phone, but just like a calendar event or like an SMS that you receive, you will have a notification, and then you can decide if you want to take it now, if you want to read it now, if you want to do it later. It's very interesting that for these push notifications, we have done a lot of evaluations, and people are telling us that they are annoying. But at the same time, the same users are confirming that these reminders are highly effective and help them to learn and to reach their learning goals. What is important, however, for the acceptance of it is that the users can configure these learning reminders themselves. So when you install our application, KnowledgePulse, on your mobile phone, then you can set yourself if you want to have reminders every 4 hours or every 8 hours, or if you want to have it just between specific times, like from 9 to 12 or something. And here is one screenshot how we use, on the left-hand side, you see how these reminders would look on an iPhone, for example. So you would directly see the question, what is the HCT in this case. So it will not just tell you you should learn, it will directly push the question at you. On the right-hand side, you see a reminder how it would look like on a Windows PC. And you see that we also use these reminders to tell you about new courses that are relevant for you or that are assigned to you by your teacher. What is important to understand about KnowledgePulse is that it's not just a quiz, it's more, for every question you will also get an explanation that tells you why your answer was right or why your answer was wrong. And there you can also include images and hyperlinks to extend the context and also to extend the knowledge of the users. So it's not just about stupid repetition of what is the correct answer, but it's also helpful to build up knowledge triggered by the questions. So just use the questions as a trigger, but provide more information to your learners through the context fields. Students also have the advantage that they can access the content or all the learning cards that you have created at any time. So at the bottom of the learning card, there is there's this index icon, and you also have the search icon. And on the left-hand side, you see how the index looks like. So the students will see the titles of the different learning cards within a course. They also see the structure of the different lessons in one course, and they can search for learning cards inside this content. Or they can click on the search icon, and then they can search not only in the active course, but they can search through all the courses that they have and through all the content that is available to them to find a specific, an answer to a specific problem that they face. And KnowledgePulse also looks nice when you use it on your iPhone and on your iPad. And you can even create your own learning cards as a student. So there's also an icon where you can, well, it's deactivated on this screenshot. I will show it on the next one. But then you're able to create your own cards yourself. And if you create your own cards, you can also choose if you want to share them with other students or if you just want to create a learning card for yourself. So what are the key benefits of the solution? Well, the main benefit is for you as a teacher that you can make better use of the classroom time, not so much for the knowledge acquisition and for the repetition. So, for example, you can tell your students that they should learn the basic facts before they go into class and before you go in depth with them and you do the discussions and the interactive part then in class. And you can also, after the lesson, for the repetition part, it's also highly effective to use mobile learning for that, which frees up classroom time for more complex, more interactive tasks and exercises. Of course, it's also well accepted with the students, as they usually like to use mobile phones for learning or use tablets for learning, and it's motivating for them to learn. For you as a teacher, it's very easy to use our web interface to create learning cards. And we have also seen examples where teachers have invited their students to collaboratively create content for learning with KnowledgePulse. Finally, you will also get very clear visibility of the knowledge levels of your students, not only of the knowledge levels, but also of their learning activity. And in a moment, I can show you how the statistics will look like, where you can really see on a detailed level, down to the level of the individual question, which student has known it and which student has answered it wrong or has answered it wrong repeatedly. So this would also help you, for example, to assess the knowledge of your students even before you go into a new subject with them. So you can do an initial knowledge assessment and then specifically address the knowledge gaps within the group of students. If you want to give a try to KnowledgePulse, you can download it for free from our website, knowledgepulse.com. On the top, you will find the download area. So you just click on the download area, and then you will find the client application for the different platforms, or you just go to the App Store and there you can search for KnowledgePulse. So maybe you can, if you have interest to use this in one of your focus groups or special interest groups, please collect the email addresses of those people who would like to also create content with KnowledgePulse and try the other side of it. And then you can send me an email with your collected mail addresses, and I'm happy to create test accounts for you. Maybe I interrupt my presentation at this part, and we do a short Q&A. And if we have time left, I can then enter into a live demo of the system, and maybe we can create 2 or 3 learning cards together.
Yeah, thank you so much for right now. I don't know if you've seen on the back channel, there are already a couple of questions. And yeah, maybe you could address a couple of them because they are focused on KnowledgePulse actually.
Okay, very good. Okay, I see the public pad.
Exactly, on the top of the public pad, the Friday presentation hangout. Well, what is KnowledgePulse is already more or less clear, I guess. Thinking about using it in school, how much work would it be for the teacher?
Okay, so I just start from top. I think what is KnowledgePulse is clear, or maybe to shortly summarize, it's a client-server system. So there are 2 different components. One is the server with a web interface where teachers can create learning content, learning cards, and share it with the students. The second component is a client application that the students have to download to their mobile phone or to their preferred learning device. The application is, or the client application is for free. There's a business model for the server, so if it is used in an institution or if it's used by a university or by a school, there's a small monthly fee to it. If you want to use it in your school, well, if you already have the questions, then it's very easy to enter them into the system, and I think we have enough time left that I can just show it to you. So I think this will answer the question best. I don't have to grant access to you. If you have downloaded KnowledgePulse to your phone, there's also a register button. And maybe I can show to you how you can do this. It looks very similar on the PC. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good. So after you have downloaded the application and you have installed it, you will see a window that looks like this. No matter if you're using it on the phone or on your PC, it will look very similar. So you have to enter a username, password, server. If you don't have a username and a password right now, then you can create your free account. So you just click here, and then you would have to choose a username that you want to use. You can choose your password, and you will need to give your correct email address in order to receive the confirmation link that you will have to click until your account is activated. So this should answer this question. Then there is the highlighted question if KnowledgePulse does anything besides memorizing facts. Well, it also allows students to create their own learning cards, to rehearse on questions, and to memorize facts. But no, it's not a creative environment where you can do more complex creative tasks. The idea is that there is a very clear learning goal and a very clear focus of the application, what it does. And what it does is it helps you to memorize the facts that you will need as a basis to build up higher skills and competencies based on it. Because without the basic knowledge, you cannot build a competence. The competence is based on the knowledge and on the skill to apply it. I hope this answers this question. So there is a very clear focus and learning goal that we are trying to address with KnowledgePulse, and it does not try to do everything else. Okay, so I also answered the next question, I think. No, it's not outdated that you need basic knowledge, and the factual knowledge that you need is not limited to the vocabulary. For example, there is no other way to learn vocabulary. It's just by learning cards and by rehearsal of it. But there are also many other things that are factual knowledge that you need to acquire. It's mathematic formulas. It's if you want to learn for chemistry, you need to know the periodic table of the elements. Or if you want to learn medicine, then you have to learn the human anatomy. And also in business, there are many things where there is no other way to learn it. There is just factual knowledge that you need, and without the factual knowledge, the skill will not even help you. If you don't know the different parts of a car, and if you don't know the materials that they are made from, it will not help you to know the different movements and where to place it. Of course, that's important, but it builds on the factual knowledge that you need to know before. Why is it motivating to answer questions? Well, it's because questions are hard to resist. And maybe you should just try it yourself. I'm not sure if you sometimes look game shows on television and quiz shows. Well, you don't really get smarter from that because they don't give a lot of explanation. But when you have started it, it's quite hard to stop it. And I think there are still people playing Trivial Pursuit these days, and there are still people playing Quiz Duel and other quiz games. So there's some magic to questions, and from our psychology and how we are built, it's very hard to resist challenges that are posed to us. I mean, if someone asks you if you can eat 50 eggs at once, okay, you will probably be smart enough to know that 50 eggs are impossible. But still, you would think about it if you can achieve it. Well, so far you've just seen there are different modes how you can use KnowledgePulse and how you can answer questions with it. One is the principle with the repetition. One is there's also a test mode. And right now we are building a competition mode where you can compete with a colleague and answer the questions from a course against each other and compare who knows more. So we are working on it to extend or to gamify KnowledgePulse more. So far, currently, you also have a progress bar that is showing you where you are at the moment, how much you have done, how much you still have to do. We are right now building an additional feature that will, after a couple of learning cards, interrupt you and give feedback to you that you did it again, you did 10 more questions. So we are working on giving more motivating feedback to the students. So you will see that there's a lot more coming in this direction of gamification of KnowledgePulse.
Yeah, thank you so much so far. I'm just looking around in the group if there are some more questions which are right now not on the back channel. Is there anybody who would like to raise a question to get some clarification? People are getting shy. Maybe one question or one comment from my side. I guess it's also very important for you to underline that KnowledgePulse is not only about tests and questions, it's also about to learn with them. So you see all the questions there, obviously, but it's also a way of learning. So it's not only to exam somebody, but also somehow to, yeah, teaching. Well, there's no teacher involved, but to give some knowledge to the learner via those questions.
Well, we don't want to replace the teacher, and we don't want to replace the book, and we don't want to replace YouTube or other learning tools. We want to add to them, and we want to do those things that can be done better on your mobile phone. And if you want, I mean, there are other tools that are already doing these things. There is Moodle if you want to give exercises to your students and then collect their answers and then want to assess them. And there is YouTube if you want to show videos to them. But the thing that that we can do highly effective is really to help people to memorize core knowledge that they need for whatever reason. They need because they are traveling to France and they want to improve their vocabulary, or they need because they want to pass the human anatomy exam because they want to become a doctor, or what is important to me is that it's not just a quiz, it's not a stupid application that is just entertaining you. We are trying to have an entertaining side to it, but there's a very clear and specific goal why you should use KnowledgePulse. It's not just because you want to waste your time, but it's because you want to learn something and there's something that you need to memorize.
Yeah, and as far as I remember from your last presentation, you also have clients who are working with a lot of law issues, so KnowledgePulse is also somehow keep them updated about the newest laws and restrictions and so on. So that's, yeah, hard facts that you have to learn somehow.
Yes, that's a very interesting thing about KnowledgePulse. When people install your app on their phone, it allows you to extend the relationship from the one moment when you meet them in class and push something to them later on. What usually happens is that the scripts or the notes that you take from the courses that you go in, they are very valuable to you, so you will never throw them away. I still have all the books and all the binders from my studies still 10 years ago, or from 10 years ago. I still have them in my apartment and I don't want to throw them away. But the problem is they're outdated and I don't look at them again, so I forget everything that I learned in university. Now, if you have an application that allows you to push information updates to your students, imagine yourself how valuable would this be to you if you would still receive updates from your, I don't know, maybe you liked physics in school, so you subscribe to it, and you would still get the updates. So only the stuff that is new and from your physics teacher. This could be interesting for you, and it would allow you to not only learn the new stuff, but also it would help you to remember the stuff that you learned in school for much, much longer, because you stay connected to it and because you get these information updates.
Thank you. One side just appeared in my mind, because we all the time also talk here about making things available and being open and accessible. By the way, because here we have a huge group which are working in this field of special education, is your application on the mobile as well on the normal desktop PC? How does it look like about accessibility for blind people or other impaired people?
Okay. Unfortunately, our efforts to get funding for such improvements of the application have not been successful, and there are no customers who are paying for it. So at the moment, well, for Android, for example, it looks quite good. The operating system provides a lot of tools for screen reading that are also compatible with our application. And well, we are doing one research project right now in the research studios, especially for elderly people. And we are also doing one research project together with Emporia, who is a vendor for mobile phones for old people. So we're working specifically in the direction to make it more user-friendly for old people who also have disability, well, seeing problems.
Thank you. The next question is more about the business model, and then when it comes to money, let's say. Because of course it's nice to create those cards, but it's also a lot of effort for the teacher to create those cards. The question is then for me, is it possible to publish the content in the way that it's accessible for everybody, in the meaning people don't have to pay to access the learning cards I've created?
Yes. So you can publish your content for free if the quality is okay. So there's a test server where you can play around, you can create the cards, and once you say, okay, this course is ready, I want to publish it, you send it to us, and we publish it on the live server, which is free to use. So everyone can download the app from the App Store, register on the iServer, and see the courses that are publicly available. But if you want to use it in a closed user group and you want that your content is just available for your students, and if you want to have more functionalities for the monitoring of your students and for the assessment, then you would need to pay for your own server organization. Well, it's a virtual server for your school, and this is about 200 euros a month for a school or for a university.
You mentioned well right now that if I put content to the live server, I have less access to assessments and so on. Can you specify that a little bit more and explain us that a little bit more?
You don't have access to the administration interface. So what I would like to show to you now in the last minutes is the power of the administration interface, the statistics that you can see about the learning activity and the progress. But if KnowledgePulse publishes your content on the public server, you don't get access to the statistics. You only get this access if you pay for your own server organization.
Thank you. There was one more question which just came up right now on the back channel. What data is being used when I create private cards? I'm not sure if I got the question right.
Data is being processed by companies.
You mean what kind of license you give those content away, or?
Yeah, what's happening to that learning data?
You mean the for learning analytics and so on from the student? Yeah, so that's a good question actually. What's going on with the learning data? So the students are filling in all the questionnaires and so on, the cards. What's going on later on with the data? Probably also how is it protected? And that's also all the time a question where the servers are standing. Are they in Europe? Or what kind of country? Law is somehow connected with that.
Okay, so the servers are hosted in a professional data center in Austria. Paying customers could also buy a license of the server and install it in their own premises. So large customers are doing this. We have just installed the server in the government of Abu Dhabi, or the Austrian Railways, or the Ministry of Finance in Austria. They are using their own servers. They host it in their own environment. They want to have the full control of their data. But for schools and educational scenarios, and for most of our customers, we host it in a professional data center in Salzburg that is owned by, it's called Cholewa, it's owned by Salzburg AG and Salzburger Nachrichten. And well, there is redundant internet connectivity, redundant power supply. We have HTTPS security of the connection. We have SHA 256 encryption or hashing of the passwords. So so much about the security. The data that is stored in our system, the customer can decide how much of the data should be personalized and how much should be anonymized. So there are customers who want to have the statistics without the names of the employees. But in most cases, they have an agreement with the employees or with the students that, well, in the university scenarios, usually there is personalized statistics, and then the IT or the administrator can decide who should see what kind of statistics. So our system allows that only the teacher of the course can see the statistics of his students, and only the maybe head of the department can see the statistics of all his courses. So this can be really tailored to the requirements of the customer.
Yeah, is the question answered, or you meant something? I'm just asking the colleague.
Is the company also processing the data?
Well, you can best probably raise the question yourself.
Hi, I was wondering if your company also processes the data for selling it, maybe because some companies are very much interested how those cards can be used. And before we noticed that private learning data is very important to protect. So I was wondering what you think about that.
Okay, our business model is not to sell any of the data, and of course there's also a privacy statement, or you also agree to an end user license agreement that gives basic information, and when you buy the product as a customer, you get a license agreement that gives much more details about it, and both are telling that we are not selling or giving away your data, it belongs to you, and we exactly specify how we use it. So what we do with it, as the product is developed in a research organization, we use this data also to learn about learning motivation. We use this data to understand the points of frustration when people are stopping or just before stopping to learn or just before giving up, and what we can do to intervene at this point to motivate them again.
But I suppose this data is somehow not personalized in the meaning that the personal data is kind of protected.
Exactly. We will never publish personalized data in our research.
Yeah, some other questions from the group. Everybody is just looking to the screen and probably checking out already the software.
Okay, maybe if we have 5 more minutes, I'm not sure. How hard is our the ending?
No. 5 minutes are not a problem, I would say.
Okay, so then I will just shortly show the administration side of it, how you can create content and how you can assign it to your students and what kind of statistics you get, okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is the administration interface. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so there are 4 different sections. One section where you manage the content, one section where you do the allocation of which students should belong to which group and see which content. Then you have the section where you create or import users from an Excel or CSV list. And then you have the section of the statistics. For the courses and learning cards, for example, on this test server, I have 233 courses. And I can see the number of learning cards that I have. Okay, there's something about advanced US history with 2 lessons and 40 cards. And I see that 2 students have given comments where there are maybe mistakes in the cards or something should be improved. So I'm interested to learn what was criticized. And when I enter the course, I see, okay, there are different lessons here. And I enter the first lesson to see the learning cards that are in it. And I can also get a preview of the learning cards, or I can click on it to edit it. And now I see here I have 2 comments about the World War I question. So let's see what was criticized. Now I see the card editor. You saw a screenshot before. On the right-hand side, you see a list of the learning cards, so you can quickly jump to another question about Pocahontas if you want. Or we stay here on this card and we see the card title, which is important because it's shown in the index and also in the statistics to see what kind of question was or which questions are answered correct or answered wrong. And then you have the question here, and most important, you select what kind of question you want to create. So you have 4 different choices. You can create a vocabulary card, which is an open question. You can create single choice, which has just one correct answer, and you can create classical multiple choice. But you can also create information cards that are not interactive. Let's stay with the single choice card. So you can see you can add an image for the question or for the solution. And here's also some question context, which is like a hint, helping the people to answer the question. Here you see the options, the correct answer, and the distractors. So you select which one is correct. You can enter the answer context. Okay, this is not a lot, but the answer context is very important because this will help the people to understand why the answer was correct or not. And here below I see the comments that this question is unclear or worded badly. Okay. So I can now act on it and change the question, and then I can also delete the comments. So I see I've done my work on this one. Or I can create a new card. And now I choose vocabulary card. So you see there's just one answer to it now, and the format has changed. I will not save this card now for the sake of time, but maybe we switch back to another question and I can shortly preview it. So you see that even when you create content, you can directly see how it will look like on your iPhone, for example. Okay, I was wrong. By the way, this course about advanced US history was created because one of our developers lives in the US and his wife wanted to become a US citizen, so she had to learn these questions. And she passed. So she used her mobile phone to prepare for the citizenship exam. I shortly switch to the group and course allocation. So you can see, you can here create new groups. A group is just a container with a title, that's it, with a name. And I've already created 134 groups on this server, and for every group you see how many courses I have assigned and how many users are in it. And when I manage the users, I can then filter them, I can select all of them, and then I can enable courses for them. So these are the courses that are available. Okay, just to give you an idea. For the users, it's quite interesting that you can immediately see when they logged in for the last time in the system and when they learned for the last time. And of course, you can again filter to see just the administrators or just see the users of a specific group. Okay, no administrators in this group. Finally, just to shortly show you the statistics. So I can see that on this test system, there are more than 8,000 learning cards and more than 30,000 questions answered. And I can directly jump to the user statistic and say I want to know about the group Blizzard, who is actively learning. Okay, it's calculated live, and it tells me, okay, on this test server, most of the users from the group Blizzard, they are not doing anything. But here I have some power users, so one person that has answered more than 6,000 questions on the test server already, and out of his 38 lessons, he has completed 34, okay? It's also interesting to see the difference between progress and activity. Progress means that he has completed most of the content that was assigned to him. Activity means that he is currently not so actively using the system. You can even, well, if you just want to have the high-level view, you just look at completed courses. And then you can tell, again, for this group, for example, you can see now sorted by the username, or you can sort it by the course title, who has completed the course and when. And if you have a certificate on the server, KnowledgePulse can also automatically send certificates to the students when they complete the course. If there is a certificate on the server, you would also see a PDF icon here. You click on it and then you see the certificate. Okay.
So that's the backend that is not accessible if the questions are on the public server.
Exactly, yes.
There was one last question on the back channel about example of couple of learning cards. I don't know, because we saw already one about the history question. Would you like to see some more, or?
Well, you can just download the app for free from the App Store, register yourself, and then you will have a few courses that are available for free in English, and you will have a lot more that are available for free in German. And I hope you are interested in project management, as we are mostly addressing corporate customers at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm once again looking around in the group. Everybody looks quite happy, and I can't see any question for right now. So I would like to thank you once again for presenting us your product. And yeah, I will ask in the next days if somebody's interested, and maybe, as I said before, we will create a special interest group or something like that. And if people are interested to try it out, have the test account, I will simply collect email addresses and forward them to you.
Wonderful. Thanks for your interest, thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest.
I'm afraid we didn't get the ending. Are you still here? Ah, we lost somehow the link. Yeah, anyway, I hope you got an idea about KnowledgePulse and working with learning cards. It's, of course, not for everything, but it's an interesting alternative, especially connected with mobiles and mobile devices. And yeah, as I said before, if somebody would like to have a hand-on having a test account, just let me know and I will collect email addresses and you will get a test account. And also the possibility to put cards on the public server so they will be accessible for everybody is also a kind of interesting option, I would say, and I think. Yeah, I'm afraid we lost here. I don't know if we are frozen or, yeah, anyway.